Yay!
So today we're going to look at how to create a new team from an existing one. Specifically, we'll look at the choices that you need to make, some decisions about what you want to do, and how to copy discussions assignments in the class notebook over. All right, so let's talk for a minute about what your options are as far as creating your new course for this semester. Now, for those of you whose courses are continuous through the year, or you're there, same students are going into a part two of a course, you might consider leaving everything in place and just adding to it. However, most of us have new courses for the new semester, and I want to show you how to go from one semester to the other inside of Teams. Now, I'm going to go into the Eubank Sandbox because that is where I have all of my different channels, and it's where I have all of my assignments added. It's where I've got my class notebook. It's everything that I've been setting up and using this past semester. Now, I've got a couple of options. What I can do is go in, and if I just want to use this exact same channel all over again, I can go in and click Manage Team and go down here to Members and Guests. And I can basically click on this little X here and remove all of my students from my class. Basically, what this will do is it will allow me to go in and add new students and basically start fresh with everything already built into this class. Now, here are some reasons why this might be iffy. If you've had a student who's turned in a lot of work to this class, this is going to delete anything they've submitted. It's going to not give you access to the work they've done, etc., like you are erasing their history. Another thing is that it will basically, like any conversations or any assignments that you've added and any due dates that you've put in, you're going to have to go in and adjust all of those things. If you've had any meetings, that is still going to show up in all of your channels. If you've had discussions, the students are still going to be able to comment in there. So, or they're going to be able to see what everyone else has written up to this point. So it's something you can do. But keep in mind that you are going to have a paper trail, so to speak, just kind of sitting in the middle of the class that your other students, your new students, will have to navigate and go through. So that's, I mean, it's easier on you, but it's not as user-friendly of an experience for your students. So the next thing you can do is to create a new team. And I'm going to go up here to all teams, and this is my dashboard. And basically what I want to do is I want to create a copy of this Eubank Sandbox course. So up in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to click Join or Create Team. And then basically I'm going to click Create Team again. This is a class that I'm creating. And in order to move forward, I could type all this stuff in, but you'll notice here in purple it says create a team using an existing team as a template. This is actually what I want to do. So don't name it anything right now. Just click on this purple link. And then I want to copy from Eubank's Sandbox and then choose that team. The only thing I'm not going to copy over are my members. So the channels will copy over tabs, team settings, and any apps that I have created. Instead of calling this Eubank Sandbox copy, I'm going to call this Eubank Sandbox Semester 2. And then click Create. So this takes a hot minute. You're going to get the spinning wheel of death for a little while. And then you'll get a notification that you can close this and go back to your home page. So I'll show you what that looks like. There it is. So it says this is going to take a hot minute. That's not what it says, but I'm translating. So just click close and then go up here to the left-hand corner and click go back to all teams. Once my new team is created, it's going to appear in the next available spot. So notice that my Eubank Sandbox Semester 2 has been created. Basically what I did was refresh the screen after a couple minutes and it popped up. Before we go into this sandbox and start looking around, I just want to tell you, no matter what, do not delete your last semester. Don't do it. I realize that means that you're going to have a lot of icons on your dashboard, and that stinks. You can drag and drop them and put them in a different order, but do not delete last semester. And here's why. When you open up your new course, you're going to find that it is just a course shell. That means that all of your channels are created for you, but nothing else. You have no posts, you have no class notebook if you use the class notebook, you have no assignments, and you have no grades. So basically, yes, this creates a copy of it, but it wipes everything clean, and you do have to pull everything into it. So what I would suggest if you go this route is to leave your last semester up. You can pull things into it one at a time. You can look at the timeline you use. If you organize by weeks, you can say, well, this is what I did in week 1, etc., and so on. But it would be so much easier to just pull things in instead of deleting it. Now, the good news is, yes, you will have to create all of your posts. So if you have discussions that you used, you're going to have to go back in and find those. Hang on just a second, let me show you. I've got my old class open in another tab, and I'm just going to click on it. And then in the Hamlet Act 1 module or channel, basically I created a discussion for my students, and it's this one right here, and you can see I've got lots of directions and things. And so what I can do in order to copy that over is just go to click the 3 little dots and click edit, and that will allow me to copy and paste. So I can just select it, Control C, and then whenever I'm ready to give the new discussion for this Act 1, whenever I get to it, I can just paste it in there, and there it is. So if you keep your other class, you'll be able to copy and paste posts and things like that over fairly easily. And so, you might just consider keeping this old class as your template, and just not ever enroll additional students in it. That way you can bring things over. All right, so I know that seems like a lot of work, but the good news is, let's say I'm going to go back to general. Let's say that I want to bring my class notebook over. That you can bring the whole thing over. So you're going to click on class notebook, click on set up a OneNote class notebook, and then from existing notebook content. These are all the things that you are bringing over. These are the main settings that you had for last semester. Just click on next. And then just make sure when you add things to your content library and then to the teacher only section, you pull those from the exact same section of the other class. So I'm going to click on the content library. I'm going to go to last semester's class, which is Eubank Sandbox. And then I'm going to click on the little arrow next to content library, check everything, click done, and notice it adds it there. Now I'm going to go to the teacher only section. Same thing. Go to click on teacher only and then check everything that's there. Click done. All right, so it's given me the sections from this particular class. Now let's say that I had another class that had a really good section that I wanted to add to it. You can actually add content from another section or another course that you've already created. So you've got a lot of options here. It just takes a hot minute to get everything back together. So once I've chosen what to add, I'm going to click next. And then these are the sections in each student's private notebook. Here at the top, I'm going to click on my old Sandbox class and go to my old class notebook. and just show you like student and Browning. Okay, so these were the sections in the notebook that I had before instead of this test, quizzes, homework, etc. So I want these to be the same for these new batch of students. So I'm going to have to type them instead of pull those over, which it takes a hot minute, but it helps to just have that up in another tab and just to be able to type those in. You see where I've gone in and changed all the sections to the ones that I used in my previous notebook. If I want to add more, I just click on Add Section and then give it a new title. And then once I've got all the sections in there I want to create, I just hit Create. And again, this takes a hot minute to get ready. So I'm going to pause and wait for my class notebook to populate. All right, so the first thing you get is the message that your class notebook is ready, and then it's still going to take it a hot minute to copy everything over. So it says we'll send you a message when that happens. So notice that the class notebook is in there, but none of my new content is there. Once it is ready, it will populate right here. So also don't forget that you can copy assignments over. You're going to click on Get Started and then Create, and then From Existing. So I'm going to go to my previous class, click Next, and then notice that it lists these in opposite order of due date. So if you want to just use the same assignments you used last semester, start at the bottom and work up, because these will be the first ones that are due. So I'm going to start at the bottom, click Next, and unknown error happened. Well, hang on a second. I got to figure out what this error is. Okay, so after some sleuthing, I figured out what that error was. And if you get that error, shoot me an email and let me know the team that you're getting the error in. What it is it means that for whatever reason your newly created class isn't being listed with you as the owner, so it's thinking that you do not have the ability to make those updates. So if you'll just shoot me an email, I can get that taken care of for you. But like I said, just make sure you tell me exactly what teams you're looking at so that I can specify the name when I go to get it fixed for you. So anyway, I've gone in, I'm reusing the assignment. I'm clicking UBank Sandbox, clicking Next, which you can't see, sorry. Right. And then once you've done that, again, the due dates are in opposite order. So if you want to start from the bottom and move up, you can. Or you're also able to toggle the due dates if you feel more comfortable starting from the top. So anyway, you're just going to copy them over one at a time. Click on it, click Next. This is where I got that error, got the problem fixed. So if you have the same problem, again, let me know. But you'll come to the editing screen of the assignment. Notice that you have a message right here that says copying. It takes it a minute to move it over, so it's okay that that's there. But you're going to scroll down. Notice that everything came over, including the document that I attached, including the writing rubric that I attached, the amount of points, everything like that. Notice that the Assign To box, of course, is updated to your new team. It by default is going to assign it to all students, so if you need to assign this to just a group or a handful of students, you're going to have to adjust that. The default due date is going to be tomorrow. Notice it's taken me about a week to figure out everything that happened and get the little problem fixed, but we're in, so we're good. And of course, you can go in and do a time due as well if you want to make it due by the time of class. The biggest thing that you want to make sure you do, of course, then, the only thing that you cannot undo once you post this is if you want to post it to a specific channel, just don't forget that it needs to be in there. And in order to do that, you're just going to click Edit. And then remember that all of your channels have copied over. And so you are able to choose the channel that you want it to go into and then click Done. So before you can assign it, you've got to make sure all of your settings are okay. Notice that now I come up here and it says saved and gave a date and a timestamp. That's good. That means it's processing, and so I can go ahead and either save it or assign it, or if I'm not sure that I want to use it, I can discard it. In an email that Ann sent out a little bit earlier, she was talking about how to postpone something to where you don't have to go back in and reassign it. In order to do that, you're going to come down here to the due date, and then it's going to by default say, well, hey, this is going to post immediately with late turn-ins. If you want to go ahead and have it ready to post, to schedule it to post, but you don't want them to have access to it now, basically you're going to click on the edit next to it, and you're going to click schedule to assign in the future. So let's say, you know what, I don't want anyone to have access to this until this Friday at 8 a.m. So I've said Friday, January 15th, post time 8 a.m. Of course, your due date has to be after the post time, and you see that it'll give you this red error message. So I'm going to come in here, be like, well, this is due Monday because I'm the teacher that gives homework over the weekends. Haha. Anyway, you can say that it's due Monday by 11 p.m. You know, that's good. And then if you do not want them to have access to it after a certain time, just click on close date. It will automatically default to the due date. That means that they cannot turn in anything late. If you want them to be allowed to turn in something late, then just unclick that and don't give it a close date, and they will be allowed to turn something in late up until you decide to come back in and manually close it, or you can schedule a close date, a week after the due date. Maybe you'll take late assignments for a week. That's up to you. So once you've done that, you can click done. Notice it won't assign it. It changes this over to schedule, but it will automatically assign it at the date and time that you have specified in there. And that way you can get everything copied over, moved over, and if you're running ahead, you can move the date up. If you're running behind, you can move the date back. But if you want to go ahead and spend a couple hours and just copy everything over, that allows you to do so. So I know this is a long-winded video. If you have any questions, please let me know. I apologize for the lateness of getting this in. As you know, it's been a crazy week, but glad to be back. If you have any concerns about moving your class over or about keeping your old class, just let me know. We can talk about what your goals are and figure out which method of this is going to work best for you. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.